I think so. I think we're good.
All right, we're going to get started. Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome. Whoop, we ready now?
Yeah, we're ready. We've been ready.
We've been ready. Happy New Year, and welcome to our very first Icon series for 2025. We're probably going to change it up a little bit this year and make it a little more exciting and more interesting. So grab your lunch, sit down, and it is absolutely my honor to be the interviewer of the interviewer for most of our icon sessions. And Marcie has agreed to be our icon today. And she has built an incredible business. She has built an incredible presence on YouTube. She's a trainer. She is a quantum leap trainer. She does a lot of things, and I am excited to jump in and visit with you today.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay. First of all, what inspired you to pursue a career in real estate? You were pretty young when you got licensed.
Yeah, I was. I wasn't inspired so much as I was broke. So
that can give some inspiration on its own.
I worked with. I trained Joanne Stiles. I was her personal trainer.
Ah.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Hey, come do this job for me. This property management job." And so I did. And then a year later, I got my real estate license, which is illegal. And, and then I left that job and came here to do this.
So you came immediately from property management into residential sales,
yes.
And you came to Keller Williams.
Yes.
All right. Mm-hmm. And you stayed.
I did.
I love that. So was there a defining moment in your career that kind of got you to where you are today? Or moments? Did you okay, let me rephrase.
Okay.
Did you dream about having a big real estate business? Or what when you got into it, what were your thoughts? I mean, did you back then, were you thinking if I sell 12 houses, I'm going to be great, or if I sell 100 houses? Where were your thoughts when you first started? And
well, my goal my first year was 48. I had no idea what the goals were, but I did 24. So it was good, you know.
That's awesome.
We made money. Like making money is nice, because Handsome and I both quit our jobs at the same time. And then we went to Europe for 3 weeks on our honeymoon. So, I mean,
did you have money saved up?
Yeah. I mean, we're Asian, you know, so weddings are money.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we did have money saved up. I'm also very good at not spending money if I don't have to. Handsome, not so much. But you guys know
Look
that.
at his arms and his vehicle.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's necessarily a defining moment. Like I didn't know as like a young person that I would be so interested in business. Like that I didn't study business at all. That's not what I did in school. I was like a researcher. So it's just kind of like, I don't know what else I would do at this moment, but I know I can do a lot of things, but like I make each day like what I want it to be.
So you made a comment, you didn't study business. At what point did you realize this is a business? And what did you do to start treating it as such?
I realized when I started working for Joanne that it's a business. And I mean, I had been a personal trainer before, so that's a 1099 worker as well. And I was in business coaching while I was a personal trainer. And so he helped me a lot as well to like understand the different sections of actually running a business. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like what kind of sections did he?
Like lead generation, finances, customer service, like that sort of thing.
Gotcha. Right. Which is all transferable, kind of whatever business you're in.
Yes.
If it's especially service or sales. Okay. So, I'm going to jump into Oklahoma and being an Okie. So you grew up in Claremore. Outside tech. Tell us a little bit about growing up.
I'm an only child. I know that that's shocking. And my parents are older, so like just very chill. I grew up on a ranch and I studied really hard in school. I didn't have that many friends, so it was good. It was fun.
How old were your parents when you met?
My mom was 28 and my dad was 36. Yeah.
I was older than that I had.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it was older for
the time.
for then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you enjoy most about living and working here? You have traveled so much and you have seen so much. What do you love or enjoy about being in Oklahoma and working here?
It's very cheap. and my friends are here for the most part. So that, I mean, I've lived overseas and it's great, but like it is very difficult to like create your environment again. And so staying in that, what you create it's easier and it creates less chaos in your life for sure.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So how has the local community shaped your approach to real estate?
Ooh, I'm pretty honest, and some people really hate that, so it's really fun. People here are not very honest most of the time, like with their opinions. So
What do you mean by that?
just yeah, just like beating around the bush, you know. That's what I notice when people, other realtors at times. Yes, people are polite. I am not very polite.
Well, I'm going to just transition right in there into YouTube.
Okay.
Because we've seen you're so forthright in showing some of the commentary by some of your.
You guys haven't even seen the one from last night.
Well, I don't want. We're going to come back around to that one, but I just want to talk about YouTube and when you started, why you started, what was it that inspired you or influenced you to decide to take that path to generating business? What was all that about? Give us a lowdown on that.
So whenever I started video, I hired a company, and I won't mention the company name. If you want to know, I'll tell you. But they were terrible at their job, like horrible at their job. And so whenever I went to family reunion in 2020, like I think I did that for a year with that company. Yeah. And then I went to family reunion and I saw Karen Carr. She's another YouTuber. She's in Savannah. And also Ken Pozek was on the stage that day. He was like less of a teacher at that point. So he was a little bit more difficult to listen to. But she started talking and like saying some different things. And then I was like looking at my channel and I was like, no, my channel sucks. What is this? And so then I bought her book. It's a short book. And then it tells you like how to like set up a YouTube channel and then what to kind of film. And I would watch some other people. There weren't many other people at that point. It was April of 2020 whenever I started my channel. So
good timing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have much else to do.
Yeah.
But I do a lot in a day as well.
Okay, I want to come back around to YouTube when we get towards the end here, but let's jump into your team.
Okay.
You are a husband and wife team. How has that impacted your business? Was it a challenging start? Were there a lot of challenges, or did it flow well? How did you make it flow? Help it become what it is now? So
Handsome he didn't force me to get into real estate, but that's kind of what it felt like at the time and now. but because he was in real estate in 2008 or 9 or something like that. And I was, a freshman in college at that time. And so he didn't do well. I think he did 4 deals that year. And so whenever we started, I was like, Handsome, you're going to like run the show and you're going to meet with clients and do the appointments. So I don't want to do any of that. I'm going to like do the transactions. Okay. That lasted like 5 minutes because I could not handle watching him like be in charge. So I took over, and I've been in charge ever since. It's just easier that way. And, sometimes there are a bit of disagreements. He's very social. You guys know this about him. And that's very overwhelming for me. Although now he has calmed down. He knows that like I'm not going to do like more than one thing in a day. Like it's just not going to happen for the most part. And so I think we've gotten into that sort of habit of how we run our business so that I can do my job, which is sitting at my desk and working 8 or 9 hours a day. And he's at inspections right now because I hate inspections. Just talking to people for 3 hours is terrible.
So really, you have figured out the role for each other's roles, and you kind of stay in that lane.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I was going to ask, and you kind of did, describing a moment when you guys finally kind of came together to achieve something pretty significant.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when you decided who does what. Is that kind of?
Yeah, when we decided, like, the way our business is set up, if you guys don't know, is like I generate leads and make the appointment. People call me. They know me on YouTube. In real life, everyone knows him. Like there is a difference here. Like sometimes people on YouTube have no idea he exists, but then everyone in real life is like, "Oh, Handsome, I gotta call Handsome to sell my house." And Handsome's like, "Here's the phone." Like this is for Marcie. And then I hate showing houses with every fiber of my being, and I hate going to closing. Hate going to inspection. So anything that's like extraneous, I don't want to do that. So he does those things. Yeah.
And he's good at it.
Yes. And I tell people that, oh, he's so much more fun than me because he is. So, yeah.
All right. So let's go into some strategies. What strategies have you found most effective in attracting and retaining clients?
So I wrote this down because I didn't know from last year. I haven't finished my P&L from 2024, but I only have like 2 weeks left of it to do. But in CTE, which I'm teaching later today,
plug, yeah.
It will automatically tell you whenever you put in your transactions where that transaction came from because you plug it in. And so I can see like my percentages for everything. And my percentages for last year were 46%, which is probably more like 50%, because there were a couple of like outliers, people that weren't necessarily in my database, but we knew them type of thing. Cause like I see a difference there if I've been communicating with them. So about 50% of our transactions came from our database, referrals, and people that we know, 50%. 25% was from YouTube and 14% from agent referrals. So those are my top 3. There's some other ones trickled in there. And that's 28 transactions.
Do you buy leads?
No, I pay Chase a little bit. Like they have this program, I pay them 25%. They're usually ready to go. So I'm excited for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
So haven't you been doing that long?
No, I only do like 2 or 3 a year, not that many.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You said Chase, like Chase
Mm-hmm.
Bank?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a question about that?
I mean, yeah.
I thought we could say
Yeah.
it
So
to the end,
it's
but
like, are they doing that through just being like, hey, we're talking to people? Because it sounds like it could be a great lead.
Yeah, they're good. They're good leads.
This person
There's not
has-
very many of
This
them.
person has to sell a property.
No selling. It's buying.
Okay.
Yeah, it's buying. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
your favorite. Okay, so how do you build and maintain those relationships in your database? If 50% of your business is coming from that, what are you doing?
So we do events. Last year there were 4, I think. I count the ones from the office because a lot of our people come to that because we invite them because we don't do kid events for normal stuff because we don't have kids. And so the office ones are great because children, I guess. And then, I do. I do newsletters, so you guys probably get those maybe. If you didn't unsubscribe, some of you did.
Not naming any names.
They pulled a Marcie.
Where do you send those out from?
For my read team email, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But is it like, what's the platform?
Oh, it's Engage More. It's my CRM. Yeah. So my open rate's about 50%. Mm-hmm.
It's a great
Yeah.
newsletter. I'll just say I
It
read
is.
it every
Very
time.
clean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I have a lot of fun writing that, and people talk to me about that in person all the time. It's wild. And then we have giveaways once a month for like the top like 200-ish in our database, which is the most of the people that we know. And then to be in that top, they whenever I call them, they say, "Hey Marcie, what's up?" Like they know me, like I'm in their phone. And then that's it. That's the events, giveaways, newsletter. Yeah, that's it.
Do you have a touch program other than your newsletter?
That's it. That's the touch program. I mean,
And so your touches for your client events.
yes.
How many times you touching
At least 4.
per event?
Yeah.
And then in your touch program, does that include calls, like quarterly calls or anything like that? Or do you have calls that logged in there as well? Or is it just blast of email or newsletter or?
I call if they need something. Handsome calls to set up like dinner and lunch and stuff. I don't call very much.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Was it like that in the beginning?
No, I called a lot at the
Yeah.
beginning. A lot. And then I had to go on drugs.
I remember that. Okay. So do you use any unique or creative methods to stand out in the competitive market? I could think immediately of YouTube
Mm-hmm.
and how you post, especially some of the negative. I want to go back around in there. I think that's a strategy.
Oh, it's a niching strategy. So
Talk a little bit about that.
I mean, my person, Scott and Lindsay, that's the name of my avatar. They're a couple. And they are typically like 45, 50-ish years old. But most of my viewers on YouTube are actually 65 plus.
No kidding.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they watch on TV. Because
You watch YouTube on their TV.
yes, they watch YouTube on their TV.
My mom does that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I could
It's
see that.
very funny.
Yeah. Yeah. They watch on TV. And so I make content that they like I specifically make content for this group of people. So I'll try to use words that they use thumbnails that they like to click on. Yeah, I think it's fine because no one's
Okay.
commented.
Okay.
I don't know what's
Okay,
going
thank
on with
you.
it.
Go ahead.
So it's and then Oklahomans hate me. Like straight up just like that's a lot of the negative comments that you see me post on Facebook. Those are people from Oklahoma because they're like, you're tearing down our state, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm not, but whatever, it's fine. It's not everyone that's like that, but I definitely have a niche, and it's typically people that are relocating and really want to know what it's actually like to be here. Mm-hmm.
Oh, they complain people coming here from California and they're all over the state, so shut up.
Yeah.
Right.
They complain about people coming from California. It's just like, I mean, guys, we have 4 million people in this giant ass state. Like, what do you want from us? Like, people are going to come here. It's just how it is.
All right, so let's move into you are really growth minded and you are all about growing. So
Mhm.
what's your favorite way to continue learning and staying ahead of the real estate industry?
I read
How many books did you read last year?
36.
Okay. So
Mhm.
you read.
Mhm.
What else?
I watch YouTube. I don't when I watch YouTube, my personal YouTube channel is all journaling. All of it. I just watch people journal.
I didn't even know that about you. That's so interesting.
So I have multiple YouTube accounts because I have to like watch what my avatar like Scott and Lindsay, and then I also like have my own channel, of course, where I post stuff. But then I have my personal channel that I turn on and watch, which is journaling and pens.
And of course it's pens.
So podcasts and reading are my ways that I keep up. Yeah. And I have a coach.
And you also, I know you don't like attending the big events at Keller Williams, but you do spend time in Austin.
I do spend time in Austin. Yes. We went last month for 2 days and did Leadership Academy. And I also went in May for Train the Trainer Advanced. Yeah, that's it. That's all I did last year.
You just found that is a little bit, why? I don't want to put words in. Why do you do that instead of the big ones?
I like that there's there's a book and there's, okay, this is what we're covering. And it's not just like people willy-nilly saying whatever they want. Don't like that very much. And then, okay. And I like that there's only like a max 200 people in the room. And so it's a little bit easier for me to meet people. Everyone's like, oh, you can meet so many people at family reunion. Maggie can't. Not me. No, because I'm in my room sleeping. Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah. All right. So, well, it says what are the books, podcasts. We talked about that. So how do you balance continuing ed with the demands of all the daily work you do? Because you were saying, your days can be 8 or 9 hours in your office focus. How do you balance that with all of the learning opportunities, the reading, and the podcast? How do you balance all that?
I keep a schedule.
You can go schedule. Is it on your 411?
Yes.
Or in your calendar?
On my calendar.
Yeah.
Like I calendar my days off and what I do on my days off. I do that. And I calendar like my full day. So like I think Thursday next week is when I'm starting my pricing strategy class for NAR because I have to take that. And so I'll do an hour a week basically until I finish it. So I just put things in my schedule. And then if I need to move it, I move it.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of Google Calendar. Like it's easy to move. So
when did that become a thing for you? Or was it already a thing when you got here to real estate calendar and living by it? Because I think a lot of people, before they come into real estate, they may not have a calendar. They may not have ever used a calendar and realize they had to, but I was just curious because it is part of who you are now. It's not even, you don't even think about it. But
I think about it all the time.
Well, I mean, you don't think about having to do it.
No.
Like people say, oh, I forgot. I didn't look at my calendar.
Oh, no,
I mean, have you heard that before? I have.
It's not as
So I asked this for people that may not be living by a calendar. At what point, how did you get into that mode?
I make more money when I follow my calendar.
Okay.
Lots more.
So was it something that you did before you got into real estate? Or did it force you once you got here?
I feel like no, but at the same time, I mean, my parents keep calendars and they're funny because they're retired. They've been retired for 15 years and they write one thing on their calendar a day.
But they still do it.
Oh, they do it. Yes. You better believe it.
To feed the cows?
No. One thing. So, I mean, the routine, and that's always been in my life. Like, that's how I was raised. So it's hard for me not to do that. I would have a hard time.
No. I think it's positive. So how do you spend your time outside of work to recharge?
Yep, I'm usually alone whenever I recharge. Or Hanson's been playing his game for like weeks at this point. It's fantastic. Marvel something? I don't know.
Oh, it's a new one just dropped.
Yeah, the new one. Yeah. And
Get along.
yeah.
Boys.
So I do keep like they call it like a dopamine menu. A dopamine menu is like the things that make you feel good. And you can return to the list and pick a thing if you're like feeling down and you're like, oh, I don't know what, I feel depressed, like I don't know what to do, or you go to the list and say like, oh, here's my things that I can do to feel good again. And like, I'll write like what I'm going to do after work and I'll write it down and then check it off once I do it. So like I play the piano and I do a lot of art and I read and I play with my cats and I go to the bookstore. That's yeah, the most of it. And I rock and do yoga. So
So you're basically Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, yeah.
Those are all
Sounds amazing.
things.
I never
Sounds
would have put
amazing.
that together.
I can be Taylor Swift.
So you and Handsome travel a lot,
Mhm.
and I love that. So you just got back from Mexico City. We're
Mhm.
going to spend a few days for the new year.
Yep.
Where's your next big adventure?
We're going to Taiwan in 1 month and 19 days.
Oh,
Yeah.
countdown. Are there X's on the calendar?
There's a countdown on my phone because I have to get my crap done
Yeah.
before I go. Yeah.
You do a lot of points.
I didn't pay for that trip with points, but I paid for Mexico City with points. Yeah.
Love it.
That's awesome. How long have you been gone?
3 weeks. Yep.
So, okay, so how would your friends or family describe you in 3 words?
Ooh. I don't know, Siobhan. How would you describe me? I think like straightforward is usually one of the things that people used to describe me. And usually like about reading, you know, that I like to read a lot. And regimented, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I concur. Maybe it's the dopamine stuff, but what motivates you to keep going on the really tough days?
I will just cut everything in half or down to do the bare minimum. I just cut it all the way down just to get something done, and then I'll stop because I didn't used to do that. And then I was having panic attacks every day. So now, like, oh, you know, I'm feeling tired. I look at my schedule every night. I write down, this is my work journal, but in my regular journal, I write down like how many hours I worked. So if I look back and say, okay, I've done 3 days of 9 hours, like that's the problem. I see the problem. So then I can cut everything out. I take everything out of my schedule I possibly can and just do something that makes me feel good instead of, you know, working. Because I can sit there all day. I really can.
I know you can.
But I can't do that all the time if I want to be healthy.
Okay, so what's a hidden talent or fun fact about you that most people don't know?
Okay. A hidden talent. Most people don't know I play the piano. I do, and I have been playing since I was 8. And I don't play for many people because they treat me like a jukebox. Like I'm not a jukebox. Like, hey, can you play this song? No, I'm not playing that song. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I think that's probably the thing that most people don't know. Because they walk in and they see my beautiful piano that I spent my money on. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to spend $3,000 on a piano. And that's not what I spent. And they're like, oh, Handsome, you play the piano? And he's like, nah.
Wait, what did you spend on it?
I spent $5,000 on my piano.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's a really nice piano. Yeah.
So what's the best advice you ever received and who gave it to you?
Whew. Okay. So I would, and I think this is Ram Dass, and so it's not he's dead. But the future doesn't exist. Like that's I know I say it to some people a lot, like I've said it to you before. The future doesn't exist. So like we have to create it, and we can do certain things to create the future. That would be probably the biggest thing. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't in real estate, what would you be doing?
So whenever I went to college, I studied international security studies, which is the it's like the movement of militant organizations. So like studying like Al-Qaeda and like where it came from, especially Al-Qaeda because bin Laden was killed 2 weeks before college graduation for me. And so most of my college time was spent looking at like these different groups and how they're all connected in like learning, like I know, where ISIS comes from. ISIS wasn't a thing then, but I understand where it comes from because of all the background stuff and where it started in the 30s. And so that typically would feed into graduate school and the State Department. But I did not do that. So
Do you ever want to go?
no, I
No.
can't work for the government.
Ah,
I don't think that's going to work.
So what would you do if you weren't in real estate? What would be a thing that you might say, oh my God, that would be amazing?
I mean, I like businesses, I like having my businesses. What did you say?
Journaling.
Journaling. Yeah, well, that's writing.
YouTube channel.
I do write a lot. I spent all morning writing a video and editing. So I do like to write and research. That's because that's, what I did in school. We didn't have information. So the research was hidden. So you had to go and figure it out. Like you had to go to newspapers that could have been in a different language. And then you had to go to like your professors and like have them call their friends. Like this is what you had to do in order to find information. Yeah.
Okay. So what's one item on your bucket list that you haven't checked off yet?
I mean, I have places that I want to go. Like I have a trip already booked for 2027.
And where are we going?
To Bhutan. It's between India and China. And then so there's lots of places that I want to go. Like one of the things that I'll do this year, if I have the amount of money, my benchmark set up for August is to book an Arctic cruise. And the High Canadian is my idea, but they haven't been booking those, so I don't know what's going on there. But that's one thing that I want to do pretty quickly. Like long-term ones, I don't really have them because like I want to do it now. Yeah, the future doesn't exist.
All right.
So what's the point?
All right. Okay, well, let's just come back around and circle back around about. So, what are your goals in real estate for the next few years?
So my goal for this year is once again 30 transactions. I do almost entirely buyers. So I closed 25 buyers last year and 5 sellers. My coach, I can tell, wants me to change that a little bit. I have my buyer system down. Like I know how to get someone to buy a house in a certain amount of time. Like if they want to. I'm not like forcing people to buy houses, obviously. Yeah. They want to buy a house. They're going to buy a house. Like that's how it works. My seller system isn't as great. So I've been working on that. And yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Grady.
What do you think your seller system lacks?
What do I
What do you
think
think?
my seller system lacks?
The interviewer repeats the question.
So for a buyer, I know exactly like what's going to happen at each step. And I tell them like, this is what's going to happen. And I just don't have that down necessarily. And it happened because of YouTube. Like I think in 22, I closed like 14 or 15 buyers from YouTube. So I was very busy. I mean, we all were, but like I had to get it out. And so it was just easier to tell them what to do too, because their attitude towards me was like, tell me what to do. So sometimes with sellers, that's not the case. That drives me crazy. Yes, they want to tell me. I'm like, no, that's not how this works.
So 30 this year. What about it? Do you see a 5-year plan where you want to be in 5 years?
In 5 years, I will be 41 years old. I know.
Baby.
Yeah.
From depends on the vantage point.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I want to buy a business, I think, another business, like not real estate. I would buy another real estate business. So if you want to sell it to me, I'll do that. But yeah, I want to buy another business. I just like I like setting things up. I like making things work. So yeah.
I know.
Mhm.
You're great at it.
Yeah.
I have personal experience there. Okay, well, that's all the questions I have on my list, but I want to open it up for questions, commentary, have her expand on any information she
Mhm.
shared.
When you're traveling, how do you take care of your clients?
So
yeah.
Since you travel so much.
Yeah, so whenever I'm traveling, when I'm taking care of my clients when I'm traveling, I usually have someone that's doing that for me. It's been a little messy in the past, I won't lie to you. And some people, like I tell them, like, hey, I'm gonna be gone. And some people have opted not to work with me because of that, which is fine. Because I'm not giving up my life for you. That's weird. So usually Brandy, my transaction coordinator, will take those. She did a couple of last year for me whenever we went to Vietnam. And I had an assistant before. I had to let her go this year because the money just wasn't there. Or the return wasn't there, I should say. Yeah, that's it. It's like a leap of faith.
Does the TC,
Somehow it all works out.
Yeah.
does the TC like make a percentage, or do you do like showing fees, or?
I think I did a percentage, yeah.
I'm going to repeat the question.
Oh, yes, I do want to
Sorry.
repeat the question. How much does my TC make whenever she puts someone under contract? A percentage typically is what I do. It's just easier because she's a licensed real estate agent to pay her like that through the brokerage, so.
If she's doing TC work, just TC work, you just pay her per file.
I pay her per file. Mhm.
Good
Yep.
question.
Yep. That's right.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you say you do one thing a day, you had a comment where you said I only do one thing a day. Did you mean by, like, what do you mean by that?
Social things.
Like appointment?
Going out, like, for instance, I told Stephanie last week, she was like, hey, who's going to the NBR gala? I was like, well, I have to do ALC retreat that day, so I can't go to the gala because like, that's too many people all in one day. So I just have to make a decision about what to do for my days. And then sometimes I have to do more than I would prefer. And then I know that I have to take a break for the next couple of days. So.
You ever push yourself and not regret it?
Do I ever push myself and not regret it?
Yeah, like on social stuff.
Like not feel terrible?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I always feel terrible if I push it too hard. Yeah. Jason? Two-part question.
First part, there seem to be agents who find their sweet spot and stay there, and then there's agents who are on an infinite growth.
Uh-huh.
Which are you and why? And then number two, is the Keller Williams downline recruiting and things like that a part of y'all's future business plans?
Gotcha. So the first question was, have I found my sweet spot in terms of growth, or am I on a consistent growth trajectory? Okay. I'm choosing not to stress myself through transactions. So I probably need to hire an assistant in the next couple of years. I'm not really interested right now in that. Last year in June, I had to go on another anxiety med because I just wasn't I couldn't do anything. I could not do anything at all. And so I lowered my goal, and I've been staying there so that I can sustain myself. And so I don't know if it's like the contacts or just like the imbalances in my brain or like whatever. But if I've got enough money to do what I need to do, then there's really no reason to stress myself further outside of that. And I do think that having people reporting to me, it adds an extra strain through my day. And so I have to figure out what to do about that. And as far as the growth stuff, like what I've been doing with YouTube, I think that will culminate into more, and probably more referrals. That's what I'm trying to do, is more referrals through YouTube. And then your second part of the question was the downline for Keller Williams and how that plays into my business plan. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm slow. I'm a very slow mover. So I've been working out those systems for that and like kind of getting to where like people know me. I'm not very loud usually. And so like my newsletter goes out, the agent one that you guys get, it goes out to a lot of agents, not just Keller Williams agents. And so people tend to like pick up on that and know me because of that. I've gotten some other opportunities there. And also teaching is part of that with my downline. So basically I'm building a database for downline and just agents in general. So that's what I've been doing the past couple of years.
Can I just say along those lines, you're very strategic. And you and Handsome taught me about slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Because I don't know if anyone's like me. I want to push and let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And Marcie's constantly slow it down, just slow it down, and come up with the strategy, and then just work the activities of the strategy.
Yeah.
And you are brilliant at that. And it doesn't have. And you have taught me that things just take time.
Yes.
And we hear it all the time about consistency,
Mhm.
and it's time on task on task over time. And if anyone's like me, you want it now.
Yeah.
But you have taught me, and you have lived that in your business, and you have been able to build something that is consistent now
Mhm.
from those strategies that you put in place a long time ago.
Yeah.
So
Consistency it's not doing something every day. I hope that
Yeah.
people don't, I feel like this comes to like a perfection versus imperfection situation. Consistency is not doing something every single day. I do my YouTube analytics once every 2 weeks. It's in my schedule. On my Asana, that's when I do that. That is consistency. I ruck twice a week. It's not every day. That is consistency. And if you mess up, you're still consistent. I hear that a lot. Like, I was in Mexico City with a friend of mine, and she doesn't she's a third-year medical student. She doesn't keep a schedule. And I was just like, and I lived with her overseas, and I kind of knew that about her because we were roommates. But I was just like, how do you know what's going to happen? She's like, well, things change so much. I don't want to write something down if it's going to change. And I said, why not? Because then how can you move it, or what if you want to return to that or remember what, I just don't. So we were having a discussion about that, because perfection is not the goal. Consistency is the goal. So, mm-hmm. Yep.
What is ruck?
Ruck. So I walk with a heavy backpack, 20 pounds.
In your rucksack.
Yes, my rucksack. Ruck.
not a ruck.
Mm-hmm. I do 2 miles. I do 4 miles minimum a week, so 2 miles at a time. But I usually do 3. So
Outside.
not this week. I did it on the treadmill, which always looks funny, but it's fine.
But who's watching the cats?
No. I'm at the Y, so everyone.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I like doing that because then most of my activities are alone that I'm doing, working out. So, yeah.
Any other questions?
When you're on YouTube watching journals,
Mm-hmm.
what is that? Like, do you watch people write in their journal?
I do.
Okay.
Do
Do
they
they talk about what
Yes.
they're writing?
Yeah. So I have a few favorites. Yeah. I know, it's weird. So it's it's the planner community is what it's called on YouTube. So there's communities of everything, right, on YouTube. I wouldn't say that realtors have a community because we tend to be a little bit competitive, although I know a lot of other YouTubers that are realtors. Some of them are really annoying, but most of them are fine. But in the planner community, they're planning their weeks in front of that. So journal and planning is very similar. And I looked back and I didn't realize I was cleaning out my bookshelf. I take everything off and put it back up. And I had a stack of planners and journals like this. And I was like, huh. And so I put them in order and I said, oh my gosh, I have 10 years of planners and journals. I had no idea that I had that much. And so I was like, I probably should keep doing that. And so then somehow I got into fountain pens. I'm very into fountain pens and stickers and my Hoboni, it's crazy. But there's some very big planners on YouTube that make a lot of money, making stickers and planning and selling inks and is it's crazy. It's really fun. It's really fun. It's a good it's what I did when I stopped drinking. So at night I used to drink like before I would go to bed, and now I journal. And I like stickers so that I don't drink. It feels very good. Yep.
Any other questions?
When you say you have like 3 different YouTube channels, why is that?
I have different YouTube accounts. Yeah, so I have 3 different ones that I'm using a lot right now because the algorithm. Yeah, it's the algorithm. So like I have one channel that's, for my YouTube. Actually I have 4 channels, I guess. Well, I watch anyway. So I use the one for real estate. I like look real estate stuff up that I need, like different thumbnails and things like that. And then I also have a recon channel. So that's one that I set up I act like my avatar. So I act like a 45-year-old couple who wants to move to Oklahoma, and I click on videos that they would maybe want to click on, and I watch that channel as they would watch it. And then I have my personal one, which is the same one that I upload like all my shorts to and my other videos. Like if I send you something in a newsletter, that's where it sits, is in that channel. Mm-hmm. So those are the 3 that I typically use. Yeah.
So, okay, so the 45-year-old couple situation,
Mm-hmm.
what's the purpose of that?
Of the YouTube channel, what's the purpose?
Of you going on, like creating and acting like a 45-year-old couple?
Yeah. So I created it. I've had several of these in the past. It's called a recon channel. So you create a channel that's not associated to any of your email addresses or anything, in a different browser, so that it doesn't, read the cookies. And then my niche is like the ideal human in there is Scott and Lindsay, the 45-year-old couple. And I hope they're not watching. They're actually real people. They're not. It's funny. And they're a little on the young side for my stuff, but I'm also 36. So like sometimes it's a bit hard for me to like constantly watch stuff that a 6-year-old would watch. But so the way you start it is like you have a video that's, like something related to your niche or like something related to them, and you put it in your recon channel and you start watching videos all the way through. And you can see what that person, that niche would watch. Like I've learned a lot being in this coaching group I'm in now, because like I didn't realize, like I'm watching these things and I'm looking at this video as this woman's talking about YouTube, and it's a video called like why the farmer plants one tree in the pasture, why he leaves one tree out. And I'm like, that sounds stupid. And there's like the thumbnail is, what you click on, right? It's just like on Netflix. Have you noticed on Netflix, they switch them out so that you'll get them. So like they see what you like and what you'll click on. So it could be like a secondary actor that they are putting on the thumbnail to see like what you click on. So this thumbnail is this guy going and like at a tree, like off in the distance. And I realized after I looked at some other stuff in there that went along with it, that I was like, my niche they want to see something real. Yeah. They don't want like this. They don't like, Gen Z likes the very cartoonish style, like extra slick stuff. And my people don't want that at all. So that's, it was really interesting. And I have to spend less time on my thumbnails now. Well, it feels like less time, is probably not, but it was really interesting to see that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Any other questions? All right, Marcie, it was awesome. Thank you so much for the time, and thank you all for participating and joining in. So go ahead.